from
What do you
one
want in your
offensive end.
offensive lineman?
The same thing that I want from every player on offense, and that is to create violence in the game, be aggressive, run, hit. I think that every decision that we make schematically needs to lean that direction. So if there's gray area, what is going to allow these guys to play more free and run and hit and be
For the
violent?
next, couple weeks, or whether that's through the draft. We really wanted to attack the front, on both sides of the line of scrimmage. I'm really excited about what we did on the defensive side of the ball up front. Getting guys like Solomon Thomas, Peyton Turner, to get Dante to come back. Those are guys that give us an edge to play on the edge.
We were talking about that last night with the staff a little bit. Just, we want to have a very physical training camp. There's limitations to what you can do, but, we want to come out of this thing knowing the emphasis of winning the line of scrimmage. Like, that's really important to us, both offensively and defensively. How we want to play, be a physical style team, both offensively and defensively. And so I would say that maximize our padded practices. Obviously got the work coming up against the Rams here in a couple weeks. And that's the big emphasis right now.
What's good, people? It's your boy, Mr. Rome, Cowboys Fan Talk, right back like I never left. What's going on with y'all, man? How are y'all feeling this morning? Today is the day. Today is the day training camp begins. I'm talking about actual practice, not the press conference, but practice. And the thing I wanted to get out was a couple of things I didn't get a chance to cover yesterday, because yesterday was like trying to drink from a water hose. It was crazy. It was news. It was the press conference. It was something that Ryan Clark said. I'll touch on in a minute. And then it was some things from the press conference that got overshadowed by our crazy, goofy owner and his goofy son. And that was Brian Schottenheimer actually talking about football, getting ball talk out there and what we're trying to do this year. And you know who I got to give credit to? I got to give credit to my brother, Foots the King. Shout out to Foots. Obviously, y'all know who Foots the King is. If you don't, that's a you problem. You need to go get familiar. Because he said something in his video last night that stood out to me. He's like, listen, man, I'm worried about the football piece because the other piece ain't going to change. And it's not. And I be getting off task because whenever they speak, they make me mad. And it was hard to avoid yesterday's news. But to get back to football talk, he was saying that Brian Schottenheimer, woo, say that 3 times fast, is telling everybody what he wants to do this year. And as much as we want to say this is going to be the Dak, CD Lamb, George Pickens show, and it will be, talk about that in a second, the way that part has success is this other part, line of scrimmage. And you heard the clips in the beginning, man. Brian Schottenheimer has been sticking to one thing: physicality, being violent, and owning the lines of scrimmage, offensively and defensively. Now, you can have your gripes, because I can already hear the names. But Tyler Guyton, but Mozzie Smith. I know. Maybe but Terrence Steele, too. I know. I hope the Cowboys got a better plan than I can see. But the philosophy, the mindset is a change of pace from Mike McCarthy. We weren't trying to own a line of scrimmage. Let's just be honest. We weren't. We're doing almost everything but. So let's see if what he's saying is true. That's what I'm saying. That being the point of emphasis. And the reason why I played the 2 clips in the beginning is, if you pay attention, that one clip was before the draft. This is around like the combine, I believe, before the draft. And this is Brian Schottenheimer talking about what he wants to do and the free agents we brought in. Peyton Turner and Fowler and line of scrimmage and Solomon Thomas and line of scrimmage, right? He even brought up Robert Jones for what? But then the draft happens. And we're right before training camp at the press conference, and the first thing he mentions isn't Dak and lighting up the sky. It's the running backs and who's going to take the lead in the running back room, which is still surprising because they haven't poured a lot of resources in the running back. So that being his philosophy is confusing, but it's his philosophy. And line of scrimmage with the offensive line, Tyler Booker. That middle, Tyler Booker, Cooper Beebe, Tyler Smith is the key, maybe to this entire team. That unit right there. And then Tyler Guyton and Terrence Steele got to bring up the rear. Mozzie Smith got to come to play and stuff like that. But being violent in everything we do, being physical in everything we do, being his thing he's sticking with, I love it because it's so different than what we've been doing as Cowboys fans. It's what we did in the 90s. We was a violent, physical team in the 90s, and it paid dividends. I'm happy to hear that our coach keeps preaching it. So hopefully it's getting into the players' heads. Now let's shift gears. Let's talk about Ryan Clark. I'm going to play this clip, the audio from this clip, because I'm not going to play the video because ESPN be tripping. Listen to the audio. Listen to Ryan Clark talk about Dak Prescott, George Pickens, and why they're going to be important this year.
Right? Because here's the thing. This is going to be the second best quarterback wide receiver duo in all of football. Joe Burrow, Chase, and Higgins will be number one. Dak Prescott, George Pickens, and CeeDee Lamb will be number two. You have CeeDee Lamb, who is a top 5 wide receiver based on production. And then you have George Pickens, who is a top 5 wide receiver based on what he left the hospital with. And now you couple those with Dak Prescott, who finished second in MVP voting 2 years ago. And a team that found a way to win 7 games last year with Cooper Rush and a defense that couldn't stop a nosebleed. I believe that this team has a chance to compete, but I think Dak Prescott shows us this year why he's the highest paid quarterback in the league. CeeDee Lamb shows that he's one of those ones, and George Pickens has something to prove. And everything that you're hearing out of that building is he's focused on being a better man away from the field. He's focused on maturing, but we know what he can do when you give him the ball in 50-50 opportunities.
Is it oversimplifying it? I said it in the tease. We will tell you what their entire season rests on one thing. And to me, RC just touched on it. Is George Pickens going to be the player that he was drafted with the potential to be? Because if he is, then I agree with RC. There may not be any team outside of Cincinnati that has a better 1-2 punch at wide receiver, and Dak Prescott could have an enormous year, and that could actually transform this team, which by their standards are flying pretty low under the radar. That could.
Yes, sir. Did you hear Ryan Clark? Now listen, Ryan Clark is somebody I don't always agree with. I'm talking about like our listening relationship is up and down like a roller coaster. Sometimes I'm like, oh, that was fire. You're making sense. Sometimes I'm like, you sound stupid. So let's just be honest. I'm not always a fan of what he says, but this one, first of all, giving my receivers their props and their flowers, saying we will be the top 2 duo in the NFL. Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. But they got to go do it. They got to go do it. Ryan Clark's words, I think, are true. I think Dak Prescott's about to go crazy. George Pickens, CeeDee Lamb about to go crazy. I think this offense will get busy behind the physicality and the establishing of the line of scrimmage. Let's not lose sight of that. But with that being established and them going crazy, I think it will put us as a very, very successful team. And we're getting overlooked. And I'm liking that. Nobody thinks we're good. We got left out of the top 10 of wide receiver duos, period, on most lists. So it's good. Sleep. Ryan Clark isn't sleep. He's not sleep because he's a former Steeler. He probably is he's more familiar with George Pickens than most. I'm a big George Pickens fan because I wanted to draft him. But I think he understands the talent. He's like, oh, no, everybody knows who CeeDee Lamb is. Don't think the U.S., the world quite knows how good George Pickens is. They're about to find out, So I like that. I don't want to let that get past. I wanted to get my thoughts on the Ryan Clark comments. I love him. I think the addition of George Pickens' skill set coupled with CeeDee Lamb's skill set is the perfect marriage. That's why I'm excited. Dak Prescott going to get busy regardless. He's played with every type of wide receiver. Short, tall, fast, slow, possession receiver, speed guy, deep ball threat. He's had great deep ball numbers, short, intermediate, precision numbers. He's 70% with play action. Like, he can do everything. Maybe not outrun certain quarterbacks in the foot race, but that's about it. But anyway, it's your boy, Mr. Roman. I appreciate y'all. We're going to get some live news on actual training camp and some clips coming out today. Now, the pads ain't on yet, but it's just good to have real football back. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. I'll see y'all later.